Just started.
We're rolling. That's what we are.
We're rolling.
We are.
Hey
we
guys.
are rolling.
Hey guys. Hey guys. It's the Progcast. This is episode 2. I'm joined by
this
my
really
co-host. Yeah, it really is.
It actually
episode
is
2 when you
episode
think
2.
about
The long-awaited
I'm joined
episode
by
2.
Yeah.
Callum and Zane, my two friends.
There's a lot of stuff
We're
going
gonna
on
talk
the
about
past little bit, you know.
This is a very
Yeah.
exciting episode.
Yeah.
I won't go
by the
into
way.
detail, but I was hospitalized for a brief time,
It was
and I'm
It
I'm
took
free
a
now.
while.
took a little bit, you know.
There were just a bunch of scheduling issues too.
Yeah.
Like there was so much confusion.
So this is a long
Um,
time coming.
Yeah,
Here it is.
very
Yeah,
long
that's fine.
time.
But it's time.
Because we were
So,
supposed to do
one
it.
thing,
Were we
one thing
supposed
we forgot about last time was to do we forgot to do the great gig ratings.
Oh,
Not
like
great
actual
gig.
score.
The
Fine.
dark side.
Dark side, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know
Stop.
why. I put great
Why'd you
gig.
call it the great gig ratings?
It's what comes to mind when I see the image of. I don't know why, but that just comes to mind.
Just
Such
yeah.
a basic
fucking.
song. But yeah.
I think my rating. I haven't. You know what? I haven't had a lot of time to sit with it since
Yeah.
my
Mhm.
listens. Then,
I
like I
understand.
haven't had the chance to.
Yeah.
But right now I'm feeling an 8.5 on that.
Yeah.
Guys-
I was thinking 8.
Yeah,
That's my
8,
score.
8.5. I'd go with an 8.5 for me personally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My
I would
beautiful
go 8.
opinion.
Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Zane, you want to introduce our first movie?
Yeah, so our first movie is 2014's Whiplash with Miles Teller
excited
and
about
J.K.
this
Simmons. It's about drumming and music
so
and
true.
jazz and jazz
It's
music
too
and
bad
jazz
because
drumming.
Miles Teller, his career like really fell off because he was in this movie, and then the next year
He was
in
in,
that
like, that
awful
awkward
Fantastic
moment.
Four movie. He was in like
He's
that
been
awful
some-
Fantastic Four
some
movie.
doozies, yeah.
hmm
But
Yeah.
anyway, I was amazed, but I was shocked. It was so good, dude.
Yeah.
I have no words.
Yeah.
To this. Well, actually, I do have words, a lot of words, but
Yeah.
I loved it.
So,
good.
J.K. Simmons.
Yeah.
Boy, he had a lot
was-
of words in that movie.
he did have a lot.
There's so many quotables. too.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
so great.
I don't even
He's
know
one
what
I-
like.
The thing that stuck out to me most was just like, especially on the second rewatch, was just the style to everything. Like
Oh,
it's
yeah.
so jazz. There's
It's-
no other
uh-huh.
way to describe it, but
Like
it's so
the
jazz.
visual equivalent of jazz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really
Well,
good.
the audio equivalent of
It's
jazz
great.
plays in the
Mhm.
background.
Like the editing and everything, the zooms, like they're not
Yeah.
like cheesy or anything. They're just
There were-
it's
They're
there
just
were
jazz.
There were moments when the camera would cut between like 50 things in like seconds, and then there were also moments where it just lingered on one shot, and it knew
Yeah.
exactly when to do which one. Like it
yeah,
knew.
it has the editing. It has like total masterful like editing. It's so
yeah,
good.
yeah.
I thought it was great.
Acting was great.
Yeah.
J.K. Simmons is obviously
Yeah,
a
J.K.
standout
Simmons
performer.
was,
Yeah,
he
he
was
was-
fucking awesome.
Mhm.
He was so good.
I think he
I-
won an award for that.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
good.
he's,
Very
he's a
good.
total
By the way.
dick. He's a total dick, but
He's
he
a
has like
dickhead.
a methodology to
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
as well,
yeah.
and you
He-
can like
Yeah.
understand.
All he wants
thing-
is just that fucking Charlie Parker, bro.
Spoilers, by the
Yeah.
way. for
Yeah.
this movie.
Spoilers for this
Um,
movie.
Spoilers.
We'll put in
Spoilers
the description.
Yeah. You know the scene in the lounge near the end where they're kind of talking.
Yeah.
Just,
having a
Fletcher and-
combo.
Yeah.
Fletcher and I
yeah.
can't remember his name now. Andrew. They're just like talking after
Yeah.
he got kicked out of the band and everything. That scene makes you think
Oh,
like
yeah,
you know
yeah.
they're kind of trying to like humanize Fletcher a little bit, give him
Yeah,
some
and they do
some reasons.
humanize him. I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they do.
and then the next scene, he's like, "Oh no,
No, I was just
Yeah.
fucking joshing
So
you.
jarring.
I was joshing
Yeah,
you there.
it's very jarring. But yeah,
Yeah.
but at the same time, like what he's saying, I don't think it's bullshit at all. It,
No,
really,
no,
it
no.
really is what he thinks,
Mhm.
and that's
Yeah.
just how he thinks, you
Yeah.
know. And I think it's just the characters are just really interesting to explore, and how
Yeah.
Andrew, gets like hooked on this, because
Yeah.
really,
He basically gets addicted
I
to
was,
it." Yeah,
Yeah, I was watching it with my dad, right? The second time I watched it,
Right.
Just like
and
me.
like he was kind of talking about how both of the characters are unlikable, but I don't know. I kind
But-
of it felt more to me like Miles Teller was just like a victim to this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That
I
was
think
definitely
he-
the case.
you watch Miles become unlikable because of Fletcher.
Yeah,
like
because
Yeah.
right, he seems
He's
like
the
a pretty
victim
nice
to this,
guy,
to
right?
this, you have to be great.
Yeah,
system.
you have to
Yeah.
be great. He just like he kind of like destroys his idea of self-worth by like adding Connolly as like the
Yeah.
main
Yeah.
member, like the main drummer. And he's just
Yeah.
like it's just a big fucking slap in the face.
And Fletcher
Yeah,
does that
it's-
deliberately. Like he even says
Yeah.
he only brought in Connolly
he
to
only brought-
motivate
yeah,
Andrew.
yeah.
Like, he didn't actually
Connolly's
give a
much
shit about
worse.
Connolly.
that was so it was
Yeah.
so because he can't even double time swing. Like what the fuck?
Yeah, who can't double time swing, bro? It's
Yeah.
2020. Come
Like
on.
he's doing the fucking double time swing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, like we're talking about how he becomes like unlikable. You probably have seen this or realized this on your own, but like beginning of the movie, Andrew's wearing all white and Fletcher's
Yeah.
wearing all black. And as the movie goes on, Andrew starts to wear like darker clothes, and then by the end, he's wearing
I
black
didn't
Yeah.
even
too.
notice that.
Yeah,
That
I noticed
is
it. I watched
so-
like
That's really neat. Actually.
I remember like watching like a bunch of like I really wanted to watch it again like a few months back, so I watched a bunch of
noticed a lot,
clips
yeah.
and a bunch of like fucking movie people talking about it, and it was like, and someone was talking about like the whole he starts like in full white, and then at the end of the
Yeah.
movie he's in full black, and
Just like
I mean,
Fletcher.
speaking of the end of the movie,
Oh my
holy
God.
shit!
It's
Wow.
actually one
Wow.
of the greatest like third acts of all
Yeah.
time.
Yeah,
I
And
think.
I think a lot of people interpret it as like a happy ending, like Andrew kind of made it, but I think it's actually one
it's
of
very
the worst.
bittersweet.
Yeah.
Like, it's
It's-
very conflicted.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because he's done it right. Like he's got Fletcher's approval,
right.
but first of all, what does he have to
should he
sacrifice
really
again?
have Fletcher's approval in
Yeah,
the first place?
and like what did it
And-
cost
The best
him?
thing.
And second of all, now that he's got that, he's just gonna keep going and going and going and
Yeah.
making himself worse and worse and worse.
Mhm.
And like,
Yeah.
He's probably gonna
So
be
it's
the
very
fucking
bittersweet.
heroin guy. He's gonna be the
Yeah.
guy who
Yeah.
dies of
Like,
heroin
people-
at 34.
People have taken away like two very different morals from the movie. Like
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, is this a good thing for him or is this a bad thing for him? It's
is
just very
Andrew's
interesting
pursuit like
to delve into.
admirable, or is it like a warning message of like
Uh-huh.
don't do
Yeah,
this?
is it just like a spiral into
Yeah.
into just
And
like
It basically
you know,
asks like how far should you go? Like that's the question
Yeah.
that the movie is asking you.
Yeah, and another
Yeah.
thing someone was talking about, like when I was watching all those things of movies, like I don't know exactly who said this. I'm sorry, like if I'm just taking your point, but I like how the movie like ended, went to the credits before there was any
Yeah.
applause. Like it was
yeah.
about Fletcher and
Yeah.
Andrew, not about what he like, because Andrew didn't care about the audience. He cared about Fletcher. He cared about what
Exactly.
Fletcher thought, not what
And
the audience thought.
that like, and I'm watching an interview with the actors and the directors.
Yeah.
And the director of the movie, I forget his name, but the director, he kind of talks about how it's really like it has the type of like pacing and relationship of like a romance movie, but it's more like like an admiration thing.
Right.
Because I guess
think
it is
it's-
the movie is exploring the relationship between the two of them. Obviously, it's not
For
a
sure,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
romantic one, but it's still a relationship. Which
Yeah.
it was such an interesting, and like I really liked how it just ends. Like there's no like epilogue of like, and then after that performance, Andrew went on.
Yeah.
Like, it's just over.
Because it's
And
left to your
like-
interpretation. It's left
Yeah.
for you to just think about what
Yeah.
happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I liked that a lot. I don't know what else. I mean, I had as soon as I watched it, I was like, I could talk for 2 hours about just this movie.
Yeah,
But
there was
now
a lot to
now
talk
I'm drawing a
about.
blank. Yeah.
Another thing, I wanna mention the music because it really is
Yeah.
great, and I've just been listening
Oh,
to
yeah.
the soundtrack on Spotify. There's this one song called what is it, like Fletcher's Song in a Club or something?
Yeah.
I really like
Piano
that
song
one.
that he plays at the end. Is that the one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that
that
song
was
that he
really
played.
good.
You know, with the,
And also,
it's
Speaking
just-
of that
it-
scene, I noticed this on my watch through. Very beginning shot of the movie is Fletcher like slowly walking towards the room that Andrew is playing in, and it's
Oh.
from his perspective, right? And it's just
Oh,
him
yeah.
slowly moving forward. That scene is Andrew slowly moving toward Fletcher.
Yeah.
And
Is that
the-
reading too far into it?
I don't know.
I feel like there were a lot of callbacks to the beginning though, so I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
fair enough.
there's
It's reasonable.
especially because the contrast, like in the beginning there, Andrew is playing like going insane, like he's sweaty, he's going crazy, and then
Right.
Fletcher's playing, he's super calm, he's just having a
Yeah.
good time with it, you know,
Yeah.
which is also
Yeah.
a contrast to how insane he is whenever he's teaching,
Yeah.
right,
Right.
or conducting, I
Yeah,
guess.
and also there's another scene I like. I'd also want to mention the scene where Fletcher kind of like you kind of see him ponder, you know, when one of his students you know, like kills himself or whatever because of the anxiety and everything. It's a real gut, despite like the awfulness of this character.
shows
It's
him
like
right.
a real gut punching. Yeah, it's like you actually, you know, he's really pondering on it, and in the
Yeah.
end, he still decides to go through with his methods. But he has had some loss, you know.
Yeah.
But it's also
He-
interesting how he chooses to tell his current band that it was a car accident rather than just not telling them anything.
Yeah, because
Like
he doesn't want to
deliberately
accept the
choose to
guilt from
lie.
it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, he doesn't want
Just
to
a
take the guilt.
evil dude all around, I gotta say.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
But there
But
is
But
like
interesting too.
there is a
And
method
fleshed
to his
out.
madness.
yeah,
For sure.
Yeah.
you might not agree. You might not think, yeah, I would do that myself, or that's a good way to learn. But you get where he's coming from, which
Yeah.
is
Yeah, of course.
yeah.
Mhm.
Like you don't like him,
Totally.
but
You
understand.
totally understand his methodology.
Yeah.
You get
for
exactly why he does what he does.
Yeah, and why he's
And how it
willing
affects
to
other
just drive
people.
people to the brink, like
Yeah,
literally of
totally
death.
understand it. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and then
are-
one last
are
thing
we
I want to
good?
mention.
Oh, okay.
This shot at the end of Andrew's dad looking at him through the cracks of the thing.
Dude.
Yeah.
That thing is like
That's
he's
actually
like,
a really cool shot, honestly.
Yeah, because he's kind of realizing not only how far his son has already gone, but he's realizing like I'm never like I basically don't have a son anymore. Like this kid is gone.
Yeah.
But I also really just like the shot of just like it really
Yeah.
far away between those like between the two, like the door frame and the door. And I just like seeing him just go absolutely fucking wild on the kid.
Yeah, and it shows
I didn't even know
the
this.
distance between them too, like metaphorical distance, because
Uh-huh.
he's watching him from so far away while Fletcher is like right next to him. You know,
Yeah.
maybe I'm reading too much into it now, but
Yeah. I think
can't
Well, I mean,
that's
this
me
movie.
reading
If
a
it's
little-
a movie that makes you want to like read a lot into it, then
Yeah,
I think
then I
that's a
think
pretty good movie.
it succeeded as a
yeah,
movie
true.
if it can make me do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Okay.
Alright,
Alright,
Are we
can
good?
move on? Oh wait, do you want to do the
Uh,
question?
Oh
segment?
yeah.
Yeah, we'll do
Right.
the question, right?
All right.
So I had rating first. We'll do the rating first.
Right.
Oh yeah.
I think
For me, it's a
I think it's
hard
5
time.
stars all around.
Yeah, 5
Yeah.
stars
Yeah.
for sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
The
Just that
first
shit's
watch
unanimous.
was a 4.5. The second
And then
one
it bumped.
was a
What
4.
made you bump it up? Just out of curiosity.
I don't know. Just I just enjoyed it so much, and I
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
appreciated just like, especially on the second watch. Like I said, like I enjoyed the style a lot, like the grit.
Mhm.
You know, very harsh yellows and greens. It's
Because you're
got a
not
very
focusing as
dirty
much
color
on
palette.
like plot, because you already know the plot. You're just kind of appreciating everything else, right?
I like
Yeah,
seeing.
yeah,
I like
sure.
seeing him watch. I like seeing you watch the movie again. And I just look at your fucking review. It just says, "Holy shit, I love this movie."
Yeah. No other
Yeah,
words needed.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Wow.
So so 5 stars all around.
All
okay.
around,
So
unanimous.
I wanted to do a quick question because I wanted to hear your guys' opinion, and this is kind of like a divisive question a little bit, like kind of polarizing, I guess. But the question is, do you think it's fair and reasonable to judge old movies like based on, judge old movies special effects and the quality of the technical aspects at the time?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I think so.
yeah.
I think you're allowed to judge it.
Yeah.
I think you're especially allowed to judge it in comparison with other special effects from the time.
Yeah.
Like I think that's
But the
definitely
thing is,
fair.
a lot of people don't agree with this, but I rank movies based on like how well they would hold up today. Like the Star Wars movies have some pretty bad visual moments that
Yeah.
really are
Mhm.
dated and don't look good today. especially the prequels.
Oh
And
yeah,
you know
those
what?
are just CGI.
And I of
Oh,
course
Lord.
I'm gonna blame it for that. You know,
Yeah.
I think it's fair, and it's the same with the original trilogy too. They have some really bad like
Right.
green screens or projections or whatever the technique is called, and it doesn't look convincing at all.
I think it's a lot.
But
I
it's
think
also-
yeah.
It's hard for me to just I don't know because like the technology we have to do CGI today is so different from like
Right.
when you go
They didn't
watch,
even have CGI back then. Like
Yeah,
in the
exactly.
They
70s.
You
couldn't
go
do
watch,
any of
like,
that stuff back in the day.
Right.
friggin' Marvel movie and you see somebody that is like perfectly CGI to look exactly like Thanos, and then you go back and watch like an older movie. It's I honestly think it's a case by case thing because you can have like a movie like Jurassic Park that's older, but they use more practical effects, so it still holds up really well.
Yeah, I think the CGI on
that's the
Jurassic
thing.
Park is really good for
Practical
its time.
versus digital.
That's another
like
debate,
effects.
man. Jeez.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing. But like, what was I gonna say? Like at the time, the prequels were really groundbreaking technology, just what they did. But now they look like they look awful. They look like shit.
Yeah.
They look so bad. So is it fair to judge it for that? And honestly, yeah, I think it's fair to judge it on how well it holds up.
And I mean, the whole thing is, right? I mean, you can't even... I don't even think the people back then thought, holy shit, that looks just like real life. And that would totally be a thing. They just kind of had to accept the fact that,
that's
they couldn't really do it.
I mean, they called it like eye candy at the time, because it was very impressive. You wouldn't usually be able to see that.
I mean, if you think about it, like... If you go back in time, people playing, I don't know, Mario for the first time on the NES wouldn't be like, wow, this looks like real life, but they would think it looks good because that's the peak of what's possible.
Well, even now, like, I don't think Mario Odyssey looks like real life. It looks like very good, but it doesn't
I just mean like in the sense that it's when it's the peak of what you know, like
of course.
Maybe in 50 years we'll be watching movies in 4D and it'll be you can imagine that right now.
Holy
so
shit.
Maybe someday we'll look back on all these modern movies and be like, oh, the special effects are terrible, but right now we think they're really good, right?
Yeah, because it's the capability of what we know right now.
Yeah, I think I know this is the biggest like fence sitter answer, but I think it's case by case for me.
Yeah. Honestly,
I disagree with case. I get where you're coming from. I disagree with case by case. I would usually just say, if they're doing it practically and it looks good, then I really respect that because if you're trying to push boundaries, eventually later it's really going to be dated.
Right.
Yeah,
trying to push boundaries.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right, should we move on?
Yeah.
I was just curious about what you guys thought.
So
No,
this
I
guy,
like that.
All right, so my man Jackson's gonna introduce the next one.
I got a movie, and this also seems to be another very polarizing thing, another very divisive movie. But it's 2020's "I'm Thinking of Ending Things" by Charlie Kaufman, or directed by him at least.
Gotta say, man.
This is a really
for me.
I love this because I just checked my new from friends on Letterboxd. Jackson has 5 stars. Callum McDonald has 1.5 stars.
Right next to it.
Yeah.
It's just so
because I didn't want to just like, all right, let's go on our podcast and argue, but like I feel bad.
Well, I mean, that's the whole point, right?
I want to encourage like discussion,
debate.
It's more fun
yeah.
when we have like different opinions.
I want to know what you liked about it because maybe I just like missed the point, and this will change my mind. But I'm curious.
Here's the thing, right? I completely understand why someone wouldn't like I'm Thinking of Ending Things.
Yeah.
Like, no shit. It's not going to do it for a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's one of the least accessible films I've ever seen. So, like, of course, a lot of people aren't going to like it.
Which might actually say that the fact that it was, despite that, it was able to make you give it 5 stars is like a testament to the movie.
Yeah.
I might argue.
It's just, well, there's a lot I love about it, right? Like the most important thing to me were just like the themes, and it deals with a lot of themes that I really enjoy, like like digging into like age
Aging.
and loneliness and all this stuff.
Oh, and by the way,
sadness.
spoilers again.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is gonna be a very
Although,
spoiler.
I don't even know.
You
if
can't really
this
talk
movie-
about this movie without spoiling it.
I don't even know if this movie has what you can call a plot. So
Yeah.
maybe to
Yeah, not
spoil
I
exactly.
was yeah.
The synopsis on Netflix reads like, this girl goes on a trip with his boyfriend, but that's
It reads like a
not what it's
rom-com,
about
but then
at all.
Yeah.
You're like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched the
So-
movie, right?
But I'll,
Okay.
I'll talk about that later. I still want
Yeah.
to just say a few more things that I really love
Yeah, go
about
ahead.
it. I think like the score is probably my favorite ever. I don't know, something about it, and especially how it's used in one of the scenes, which I'll also talk about. But yeah, I really love the score. I think it's perfectly used and it's great.
Yeah.
The moment you said that,
I
I
really-
just was sitting here thinking like, I don't remember the music
Yeah,
or what it sounded
Yeah,
like.
that was me
there
with the
a score?
lighthouse. That was me with the lighthouse last week. I was like, what the fuck?
I guess
Yeah.
that's a good thing though.
Yeah, I
'cause it
just
works
heard
in
the fucking
background.
foghorn, and I was like, okay,
Yeah,
cool.
well, I mean, I wouldn't say that. Like, if you don't remember it, it's usually, it can be a bad sign.
Yeah,
But
I heard it honestly, but like it didn't really
Yeah.
do too much for me. Like it's
Yeah,
all the
really.
orchestral
Got
shit.
more.
Like it,
Yeah.
I feel it's a little like Like I don't know.
It's just very atmospheric and really like haunting.
Yeah.
That's what
That
I like
fits the
about it.
movie
But yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
okay, enough with the lighthouse. I also really
Wait, no.
I
We were
really-
talking about the lighthouse. I thought we were talking about. I'm thinking of ending things. But
No,
yeah, but in
I-
terms of the score, I'm like, I don't know, man. It's just doesn't
get it.
exactly do it for me. Like I can see where it's coming from, but the whole like orchestral shit it doesn't really ring too much
I think
of a
it
bell.
has some really just interesting instruments. And fuck it, I'll talk about it, I guess. Like the interpretive dance scene, just how it's used, it's so beautiful and sad too. It's so like beautifully depressing because this is the end of this character's journey, and this is where he kills himself, and it's
What?
touching
That
and it's
would've
also
Wait, what?
Oh yeah, I guess I guess I have to describe what the movie's about. So the first thing you have to
Please
understand
do.
is that everything you're seeing
Oh,
with
that
the
makes
girl
fucking
and
sense.
Jesse
Oh, Jesus
Plemons,
Christ.
everything that you're seeing with the girl and Jesse Plemons is going on in the janitor's head. Everything that you see there is going on in the janitor's
Oh.
head. The janitor is technically
Real
the only
thing in
actual
the-
character in this movie.
That actually makes it make a lot more sense.
Yeah.
And basically how it's
So
it's
he's thinking of
obviously
ending
super
things. This is
interpretive.
crazy. This is crazy, guys.
It's obviously very interpretive, but how I saw it was kind of like, this character has done the same journey. You can see, when Jesse Plemons throws out the cup, you can see that there's just a bunch of them in there.
Oh, yeah,
so I think
yeah.
he's kind of done this over and over again, and this is the final one. He's finally gonna conquer all of these things that have been weighing on him for his life, his parents, everything. And well, except for like a few things, like when you hear his wife is brought up, it immediately cuts. And basically, as soon as the movie starts, you understand that Jesse Plemons can basically just hear her thoughts because they're just
'cause
the
he's like,
same
what? Did you
person.
say something? Yeah.
Yeah, they're just the same person.
By
And
the way,
he's
welcome
kind of-
to Jaxon Explains the Plot to Zane and Callum.
Yeah.
Well,
We're
you, like-
confusing.
There's a lot.
I mean, I didn't understand
to watch
shit.
it a lot of times.
All right, here's
Yeah.
guys. Here's my fun little anecdote. I was watching it. I was like, okay, I see. It's kind of just one of these things. They're just in the car. For now, I think I'd say 4 stars. And it was good about halfway through the movie, and I'm like, okay, so they've left the fucking house, and there's still an hour left in this fucking movie. I hope they can, give some sort of summary at the end where it just kind of explains everything.
Yeah.
Comes
5 minutes
comes
in,
like
it's like,
20
here's what you just
yeah,
watched.
comes 20 minutes to the end. And I'm like, okay, are they gonna kind of just bring it all in, just show you what the fuck it means, and then they just start fucking dancing. Then they just start fucking dancing. What?
Once you decipher it, though, it does
Yeah.
actually have a
Yeah.
conclusion.
I was
Hold
half
on, let me finish,
expecting
let me finish.
a little, and then she woke up ending.
Oh, that would be awful. That would totally ruin the movie.
I would have loved
would
that.
ruin it
And then
so
she
hard.
woke up.
But yeah, basically, you see her occupation and just everything about her constantly
Her name
changes.
too,
Like
yeah.
her jacket, the color of her jacket constantly changes.
Yeah, I was
a lot
gonna.
of things about her character
All
constantly
right, I'm gonna
change.
do my review
And basically,
right
what I think, or what I heard, like the most like realist, or like, the most plausible thing I heard was basically he's running simulations of this girl that he never asked her out. He's running,
Hypothetical
he's seeing,
GF.
yeah, he's seeing like, how would it be if my girlfriend was like a movie critic? How would it be if she was a painter? He's running all these scenarios through his head because he's never really had love. And you immediately, one thing I picked up on the third time I watched it was there's this scene where she talks about marriage, and it immediately cuts away because the janitor is never going to be ready to talk about that. He's never going to be willing to open up about that because it's so depressing.
And I don't know if you have an explanation for this, but can you explain like the very ending where it's the older Jake? Because I was like,
that's such shitty like elderly marks. Well, I don't understand why they had to make the elderly shit so awful.
Please enlighten us.
Well, this is what I think. Again, you kind of have to draw your own interpretations. This isn't the actual summary. This is just what I.
Right.
Yeah. So basically, the thing in the school. This is the final part. This is where this is the last thing he needs to conquer, which is his own fantasy that he's made up. He needs to finally get rid of it to put himself to rest. And so basically, there's the interpretive dance scene is definitely very weird, but I don't know. It's not gonna work for everyone, but I thought it was really beautiful, and it's kind of just hold on, I'm thinking about it. I had this written down, but I have to kind of there's so much
melted my brain.
There's so much, but yeah, basically this is I kind of see it as like, this is kind of him trying to get a conclusion with his fantasy, but basically he has real like self-loathing issues, and he really, this character really just hates himself, so he imagines himself as like a villain, and then and this is kind of just him like making a kind of like conclusion in his head just to finish it off, where he comes in, he kills the dancer who plays Jake, and then he takes the girl away, and that's kind of his conclusion in his head of how his fantasy ends. And basically then it goes to the janitor. The janitor goes, and he's finally done. He's finally conquered everything, and he goes to the car to kill himself by hypothermia. And then sorry, there's so much. But then there's the pig with maggots, and it's kind of like clear symbolism. It's like symbolism for this guy. He has all these past experiences that are just eating him up inside and just tearing him apart. And that's kind of what the pig means.
That's so smart.
Yeah. That's actually interesting. I remember the scene where they're driving and the pig says, "Come join me" on the billboard, and then nobody acknowledges it. I was like, did that happen? Like, did I dream that? Why did they not react to that?
There's a lot of times that camera, right? And I think it's kind of to show that the janitor is always watching in this fantasy. And there's a part where they cut where they're kissing in the car. And the janitor's watching, and it freaks Jesse Plemons out.
Freaked me out.
I heard another theory, right, which I also like, where basically the janitor is just like, he's really upset that his fantasy has turned like sexual, and he gets out to go confront the janitor because he's pissed that he's really upset that it's turned sexual and like that. But basically the final scene of the movie, he's accepting a Nobel Peace Prize, which I don't know, I think it's kind of like him coming to terms. He's finally at peace with himself.
Life,
he's conquered everything. He's finally just satisfied with everything. He says, I'm only here because of you. You're all my reasons. All these people that have been in life.
And everybody that played a role in his life was there, like his parents and then the hypothetical girlfriend.
One thing I kind of liked was, like when at the beginning of the movie when they were just getting in the car, the girl was like, "Oh, I'm thinking of ending things," and she was just talking to herself, and the guy would just keep fucking interrupting her. And then when they get to the house, and it just gets all weird and like, it just fucks with the continuity of everything. And then they go back into the car, right? And then this guy, and then her thoughts are interrupting him. Because it just kind of fucks. Yeah,
that's interesting. I didn't even notice that.
I was like, that's actually kind of sick.
Phone calls? Yeah, the phone calls are basically just like, they're kind of like the creeping thoughts of suicide. You know, he's like muttering like, you know, it's like a very depressing, like he's muttering like, you know, a very lucid, like, you know, all these things, you know,
the
it's like,
right,
you know,
all that stuff.
The assumptions are, I can feel my fear growing.
Imagine if I got a phone call like that, I would want to be put on like witness protection. I would be like, oh my god, I'm gonna die soon.
But yeah, those are like the prevailing thoughts of suicide that keep creeping into his fantasy.
I want to talk about what I enjoyed about it first.
Yeah, sorry.
No, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Yeah. I actually appreciate that because I was lost. But I really liked how it felt like genuinely like a dream, like the exact same way a dream feels, in that nothing makes sense and nothing is consistent, but it's just close enough to reality that you're like trying to make sense of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, it just made me like, in this conversation, I just now realized that the whole thing was a fucking dream.
Yeah, or like a
fantasy. It's more of just an imagination. As opposed to,
And I liked how it was. At least this was how I saw it. How it was like creepy without actually having, like, there was nothing scary that happened. There was
except for that,
like blood or murder.
Yeah,
there was no jump scares, but it just, I was like,
I mean, with the guy just fucking peeking through, you know.
That was
I was like I was kind of like half paying attention at that point, like maybe 3/4 paying attention, and then I just saw that shit. I'm like, whoa, what the fuck?
But I remember, like, in the scene where they're at the parents' house, every time it would show a wide shot of the room, I was like looking in the background. I was sure like there's something's gonna happen, like something scary is gonna be here, but there never was, and I think it was good that it was able to keep me on edge like that.
Yeah.
I think people were very misled because the original book is definitely like a horror story. It's, you know,
much more
the ending
direct.
is much, the ending is much more direct. Like he stabs them and everything. It's much more interpretive.
Obviously,
that's what I know about it.
Spoiler. All right.
Yeah, basically, it's much like, and people were going in with the expectation of like, oh, it's gonna be like, you know, a faithful adaptation, and Charlie Kaufman just did what he wanted. Like he made it his own movie.
Like, I'll keep the title. I like the title. I'm just gonna make
it. I like this Jake guy.
He did what he wanted, and he made his own vision. He didn't use the author's vision. He made his own.
I think that's cool.
I want to mention the parts with the dog where it just shook for a little too long. It scared me so much. I can't explain why. Just because I guess it's like the uncanny valley, right? Where it's close to reality, but it's just slightly wrong. That is so freaky to me. I was like, stop. I want to see your face, but it won't stop moving.
It kind of just fucks with you.
That situation, he just like imagines he has a dog, and then the dog just exists.
And then later you see the dog's ashes in his childhood room. In a little urn.
Oh, I actually didn't notice that. Fuck, dude.
Oh, also, and by the ashes, there's also just a bunch of like DVD things, you know, like uncomfortable moments, long forgotten friendships, all these
really, I didn't notice that. I noticed that there was like books related to stuff that they had talked about, but nothing. I didn't notice those.
So much shit. Like every shot is so like intentional and so purposeful in the movie. It's so like it all contributes.
The dream thing is actually starting to sink in a lot more now, because like there was that part where she was reading her own poem, and then later on
found it,
and it's like, you know, because the thing about dreams, it fucks with you.
There's conscious. There's a point where the girl just turns into the girl from the movie, and it's just because he was
back.
in his head. You're just thinking about it.
Yeah, I
I'm
remember.
quickly realizing through this conversation that most of the things I don't like about this movie are just because like these types of kind of experimental type films are just not my thing. Like I'm
Like
I
I
don't
said,
necessarily think it was a bad
have
movie. It's
total
just not
right to
for
not
me.
like the movie.
Yeah.
Like I understand why.
Uh-huh.
For sure.
Yeah,
I gotta say though, even outside of the whole like, it was weird. I didn't get it. I really did find the parts that they were in the car boring, especially the camera work, because like there's only so many angles you can have inside a car, right?
Right.
So I was like, cut away to something. Like it's just showing the same different angles of the same stuff. Right?
Everything they talked about just kept me engaged because it all relates
Yeah.
to this character. There was a point that I picked up on the third watch, like that was like 2 hours ago, where I like there's a part where he talks about like suicide and about this like author who commits suicide, and the only reason they remember him is for suicide, and it's clearly like lingering in his head. Like every conversation they have contributes to what the movie is trying to convey. Which
I guess I was too focused on trying to understand it as like as if it was really happening, which I guess is kind of partly the message of like you shouldn't do that. Like I was really I found it really hard to care about anything that was going on because nobody reacted to things in the way that people would react to things. So I was like, if they don't care about this stuff, why should I? You know? But now I'm starting to get it.
Right, for sure.
You have to watch it. It's a movie that requires you to like watch it a couple of times and actually like put the pieces together.
I only saw it once.
Me too.
Yeah. No, you don't have to watch it again.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe I will eventually, just to
be like, oh, I understand now.
Yeah. I think it's, like for me, the second watch was the best watch. Like it was so.
Everything's clicked, right?
So much more.
It all clicked.
Yeah, like I understood so much more about it.
You know, I absolutely despise using this word whenever it comes to talking about movies, but like, I have to say, the word pretentious came to mind a couple times. I gotta say, I don't like describing movies that way because it's like just such a dumb criticism. But like, I couldn't shake it.
A lot of people think it's pretentious. Why? I disagree, but I get why. Yeah, I think it's really just different in my. It's definitely not accessible, but it's just kind of different, and
that's interesting.
It conveys the character.
In a world where what seems to do well is in Hollywood is a lot of the same. It's bold at least to make something that's just so different from anything anyone would expect.
He's so talented, and he's having trouble getting movies funded at all. It's just a fucking shame because his movies are. I love his movies so much.
Honestly, he made, by the way,
he made Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, Synecdoche, New York. He didn't direct these, but he did the script for Adaption. He did Being John Malkovich. So he's done. He does like a lot of scripts for movies, and he's only directed a few.
I saw
he directed this.
Yeah.
I saw him. Like one criticism I have is that honestly, personally, I think they should have probably given you a little more information on what was going on.
Just a little.
A little bit more. But I feel like there are a lot of people who are like, "Oh, you're too fucking dumb to watch this movie," are going to disagree with me.
I'm not
fully.
trying to make you like it by telling you my interpretation. I want you to you think of it how you originally think of it. You know?
I was nervous that coming on here, you guys were both gonna be like, "Oh, it's 5 stars," and I was gonna be like, "I'm just too stupid for this movie. I don't get it."
I like having these conversations. I like hearing the
it's fun.
I definitely don't think it's a 5 though. Honestly,
it helped me kind of grasp what I think, not only what I think of the movie, but what the movie was actually about, which is definitely helpful. This conversation.
Overall, okay, so I guess we give our ratings at this point. Overall, I think I'd give it a 7. This kind of gave like a 7 out of 10. This kind of this whole conversation basically made me go from like a 4 to a 7 because I think I understand it a lot more now, but there were some cinematographical issues, like the low lighting in some spots really like kind of fucked with the thing.
I kept checking if my brightness was all the way up.
There was a video. I watched a video one time, and basically, he kind of like the guy in the video explains that at lower like light levels, you can very easily see the color changes.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can very easily see the color changes, and I saw that a lot in the darker scenes, like in the car during the blizzard.
Yeah.
And it was just like a little bit of an issue.
Yeah, I find the editing in general a bit jarring. I mean, I guess sometimes it was on purpose to make you kind of uncomfortable, but
Yeah.
I found it
And fuck that dog, man. What the fuck? Why did you have to do that?
I'm so scary.
I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. It's just, it's gonna fucking keep going.
He just kept spinning and spinning.
Yeah, he just keeps
Does
going,
everything,
man.
like if my dog started doing that, I would have no idea what to do.
Bro,
I would
if
think
my
I was,
dog
like,
started doing that, holy shit, bro, you're going to the fucking pound. Oh my goodness.
You're going to hell.
This guy is not a fucking dog. He is a spawn of Satan.
I can't actually give it a rating because I thought I had my rating, but this conversation made me reconsider, but I don't know to what yet. So I'm gonna pass on a rating for now.
All right.
I've heard the complaints. I don't know. I still love it just as much.
I don't want to convince you to you should think it
I'm just
sucks.
giving my input.
I think I actually. But just before we finish off, I guess if there were some cinematographical things I didn't notice, but I thought in general the cinematography was pretty great, especially in like the house scenes.
The house scenes.
I thought
like one thing I really liked.
Yeah,
one thing I really liked was
the
I liked the scene like when they were when they were doing the dinner table before it get all fucking messy and shit. During the dinner scene, when like she was explaining how they met. Like, right at the end of that scene, it's such a wide shot, and I was expecting to see more people. Yeah. I was expecting to see, like, the heads of the people, but it's just her.
Yeah.
Which I think that part's definitely deliberate. I liked that.
I'm a big fan of that shot. I just, like...
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I don't know if I don't know if she was the only person in the room.
Poster, didn't they?
What?
Yeah, they did.
Isn't that shot, like, the poster on Netflix?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of shit I didn't even talk about, but I think
we've been at this I think for 20 minutes now. We're already at 41 minutes in the recording.
So I'm gonna pass on a rating, but let's go on to the third thing, which I'm gonna introduce. The recent Gorillaz album, quite a long name, Song Machine Season 1, Strange Times, by Gorillaz. As I said, that's the album I picked, and. Yeah, that was an awful introduction, but let's talk about it.
It's good.
I talked in the last one, and it was kind of annoying, but I do not have a lot to say here.
Compared to like something like last time, which was about what does it mean to be human. This is just sounds good, you know.
It's just more of a it's more of a compilation album than anything else, and because it's just
let me pull up the track list. I listened to it a bit ago.
I enjoyed it a lot. I thought it kind of dipped in quality near the last half.
Yeah.
But I thought it was pretty solid throughout. A lot of kind of groovy stuff. I don't want to use the word vibe, but I have to. I think.
Oh. Right.
I listened to up to Momentary Bliss.
Yeah, I watched. I listened to the whole thing, like including the deluxe songs.
I didn't listen to the.
In my personal opinion, the best and worst song on that album is in the deluxe edition.
Okay.
Both the best and worst songs. I'd probably say Opium is my favorite, but my least favorite one is the third to last song. I don't remember the name of it.
With Love to an X? Yeah. That was kind of shitty. Yeah, I was gonna bring that up.
I just really don't like her voice at all.
Yeah, I think that for me the moment when it started to dip was when they stopped using 2D's vocals as much and they relied more on the features.
Yeah,
that's kind of when I noticed that it was. I mean that was mostly in the deluxe. Momentary Bliss is that where the
that's where the regular album is.
I love that song. That song is so good.
I'd probably say my favorite song in the regular edition is Aries.
Aries is
I'm
really
a big
good.
fan
that
of
song
that.
grew on me. I didn't like it at first, but it grew on me a lot.
Yeah. I think there were some issues. I was listening right at the beginning to it, right? And there's that really loud, jarring guitar part, and I'm like, is this
Oh,
gonna be?
yeah, I
is
didn't
this?
like that at all.
I was
I
like,
didn't like that at all.
I was like, yo, is
If
this
they-
is this a Gorillaz album? It doesn't really feel like them at all.
Yeah.
It didn't fit the song. I wish they just took that part out because it like the rest of the song's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I-
like the
I
little
like
intro where he goes Aries. Like they could have taken that out and it would have been the exact
Yeah,
same song.
it's a shame.
I like that part. I like that song. What's it called? The Pink Phantom. I think that was probably
That
my
was good.
favorite one.
Yeah.
A very interesting choice to have not John
Elton
Lennon,
John.
Elton John and I don't know I don't know how to say his name. I don't want to say Six Lack, but like,
I don't know.
I don't know if
just
that's how you say it.
Yeah.
But to have him and Elton John on the same song and
Yeah,
somehow make it
that
work
was-
is
yeah.
like damn. Like
I was not expecting to see Elton John on that
that
fucking
song
album.
No.
Friday the 13th. That song sucks ass.
Yeah.
That was like the.
Yeah. Also, I don't know what the fuck they're talking about with fucking pagans. Like, what the
Dude,
fuck?
I was just trying to like I was not paying attention to the lyrics. I was just
Yeah.
like, this sounds good. This is you can rock
Oh,
with this. That's
I
all I
like
want.
that one. I like. I
Value
think
of
Strange
Pagans?
sucks ass. I hate that opener. I think it's really
Really?
annoying.
Dude, when the drums hit, oh my god. I
Yeah,
love that
when,
part.
when the song kicks up, it's okay, but the piano, oh, it's so hard to listen
Yeah.
to for me.
Oh yeah, and I was
Yeah.
like, I was listening to the, there's the song, the second song on the album, "Valley of the Pagans," and I'm like, okay, that for some reason they're talking about pagans, and I listen, I'm a little further down. I listen to Friday 13, and I have a
pagans
lyric right here. It says, "Find a pagan on the strip, spin him round." What the fuck
Yeah.
does that mean? What the?
I
Why is it a
don't know.
fucking pagan? Like, what is a
Yeah.
pagan? 1 second.
I do
don't
like
even
that
know.
song. Though. I like mostly in like kind of the first half of the standard edition album. Like, there's a lot of like really like sweeping synth sounds, which is something
Yeah.
I like a lot.
I'm thinking that the standard is probably better. Like it's because
Uh-huh.
I found that all the songs I started to not like were in the deluxe, were like deluxe exclusive.
Yeah.
So to keep
Yeah.
it more compact and just more but better songs seems
Right.
like a better
Yeah.
idea to me. I don't know. I enjoyed it. I really thought it was a good return to form for them because their past two albums that were good, but they weren't as they never hit the same heights as like Demon Days or Plastic Beach, and I
Yeah.
don't think this does either. But it's much closer than like Humans of the Now.
Yeah,
Network.
I listened to the Now like 2 years ago when it first came out because my friend
Yeah.
recommended it to me. Yeah, it was okay, honestly.
I liked it, but part of me wonders if I just liked it because it's Gorillaz and I like them, or like. So I don't know. This is definitely better than the stuff they've been putting out, which I
Yeah.
think they need to focus less on like, let's make a whole album, or let's basically
Yeah.
just make instrumentals that other artists can sing on. Like Humans was all features basically,
hmm
and it didn't really feel like a Gorillaz album. Sorry, I'm talking about albums you guys have never heard, but
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Honestly, like,
this one was a return to
I-
form, and I enjoyed it.
With 2D, I know you're talking about the stuff with 2D. I don't know, like being like not a Gorillaz fan, it didn't really bother. Honestly, like I didn't
What?
mind.
Sorry, you cut out there. What didn't?
Mhm.
Oh, I like you're talking about like 2D, and it didn't really bother me that it started to be like featured less on the songs. I don't know.
Uh-huh.
It didn't
I'm
really
not-
like.
I don't know if it was directly a bad thing, but I just found that when the songs I didn't like as much were the ones that coincidentally just didn't
Yeah.
have him on it as much. So
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of Damon Albarn's voice. So
I think
so
he's
guess
I think he's a decent vocalist. One thing I kind of have a gripe with is the fact that they use that kind of compressed like vocals so much.
the walkie-talkie sound.
Yeah,
thing,
like the
right?
walkie-talkie kind of sound. Like
Yeah,
I feel
I
like
Like that, they started using
Yeah,
that on in the Humans era, and they just haven't stopped. And it's
Yeah.
like, stop doing it.
I feel like
went
they have
to
to do
a concert of theirs, and he was literally singing into walkie-talkie for some of it. And it's like it sounds
like
cool
it.
in the
You
odd
don't like the
song, but
walkie-talkie sound? I thought it was okay.
I guess
it's-
being a long-time listener, I'm just kind of tired of it because they've been
Yeah.
using that effect for so long now, and it's like
Mhm.
it sounds cool on the odd song, but
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair.
I can
Oh,
Overall,
understand
I
that.
enjoyed it.
I just want to mention I like that song. I like that song "Désolé" or whatever. I think
That's
that was
good.
pretty.
Yeah, I
That's
think
good.
that's a
It's
good
kinda
song.
long.
Very
but it's-
very funky, very.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Yeah.
I'm feeling an 8 for this one. It was just a solid,
hmm
good,
Okay.
good hour or so of music.
I
What do you
understand.
guys think?
Zane, you go.
As a bit of a, as not really a Gorillaz fan, I listened to one of their albums literally 2 years ago, and I haven't listened to it since. I don't really have. Yeah.
Dude, their oldest stuff is so good, man. Demon
Yeah,
Days,
I listened to a
Plastic Beach.
few of their songs, like from like older songs, like their biggest hits.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Those are
I
very
give this
solid.
maybe there are a few kind of shitty songs on it. I wouldn't say it's like good from front to back. Like an
Yeah.
8 for me is a great. I'd say maybe a 6.5 out of 10 for this one. And I mean, like, yeah.
I think I'm a little biased because I've been a fan of Gorillaz since like
Mhm. And I'm a bit biased too. I'm
like the same with that.
I'm a bit
Yeah.
biased too, honestly, because I don't really listen to too much music like this. And
Yeah.
that's-
I was thinking that when I recommended this, you guys seem much bigger into classic rock, and this is
Well,
like
I
brand
like
new. So I was like,
Like I think it's interesting to talk about
Yeah.
like
I like
genres.
expanding my horizons in music. I don't want
Yeah,
to
which
dictate
is-
myself to just one genre.
being on this
or-
podcast has actually really helped me with that, especially with movies. Because
Yeah.
like I probably wouldn't have sat down and watched like something like Whiplash or The Lighthouse on my own, and now I'm so glad I did because they're both like in my top 4 movies.
Yeah.
So I'm enjoying this so far.
Yeah,
We're on
as
episode
am
2. I'm
I.
having a good time.
Okay, I'll give my rating here, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
sorry, dude. I forgot.
I didn't really like. I don't really have a lot to say about it. I didn't really describe how I feel much, but I don't know. It's okay, I guess. I would. There's like some songs I really don't like, and I think there's like the 5th song, Chalk Tablet Towers. I think that one's just kind of generic.
Yeah, kind of
yeah.
forgettable.
Mhm.
There's a lot of just ones I don't remember, like Momentary Bliss. There's a bunch of those I don't remember at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't think this is a very fair rating just because I only did it once, but I'd probably give it 4 out of 10, 2
Yeah,
stars.
I personally think that there's more good things about it than bad things, which is why I gave it a
Yeah.
6. Like 5 is like dead in the middle. Like there's about as many good and bad things. 4 is like there are a lot more bad things than good things. But
Yeah, I just disagree. I think there's I probably wouldn't listen to it ever again.
same. But yeah, it's just
I like
not
that
really.
one Plastic Beach though. That Plastic Beach album, like I listened to a
So
little bit.
good.
That one, I like that.
Yeah, I haven't. I'm
Gorillaz
probably
could
gonna
release
see it
an
again.
album that's just an hour of screaming, and I'd be like, yeah, it's a strong
Yeah.
stuff.
Yes.
So don't trust my ratings on this, but
Yeah. We're all a
I
little
like those
biased here.
they are genre.
yeah, in our own
Yeah,
ways.
yeah.
And I'm glad. Honestly, one thing I could do a little less with is the trap drums. Not exactly.
I did not like that on
Yeah.
with Dead Butterflies. I thought the instrumentals there were bad.
Yeah, it's a
They
shame.
Yeah,
never
yeah.
do that. They
I
never do
remember
that type of instrumental. So I was like, why would you
Yeah.
do like it doesn't sound good with their style.
Yeah, trap drums just don't really
The
do it
thing
for
is,
me.
they're trying to make so many combinations. So like some of them are gonna be good, and some of them are just not gonna be good. you
Yeah.
know, like, some
Yeah.
of them not-
That's always been a bit of a flaw with them. They do a lot. Like they do
Yeah.
their albums can all be classified into not all of them into different genres, but like
Yeah.
Demon Days sonically is so different from something like Humans or even
Yeah, they're so
They're all
musically
over the
diverse.
place. Yeah.
I respect it. It's interesting,
Yeah.
but it
I
also
respect it. It just doesn't always pan out, you know?
They
Yeah,
throw a lot of shit at the wall and they see what sticks. What can you say?
Exactly. Yeah. But they release all of it, even the stuff that they have to
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, because one of the songs is going like someone's gonna like one of the songs, like there's one of those
Yeah.
songs gonna be for someone.
Yeah.
So-
There might be somebody who
They-
heard every song that we hated and thought it was a 10 out of 10, and
Yeah.
every song we loved and thought it was shit.
Yeah, that's really
Actually,
cool.
We had different opinions.
That's
like
the great thing about music.
Yeah, it's really
Sure.
cool how they just have they have basically something for everyone. You can find
Yeah.
something in their music that you
Yeah.
can enjoy, and that's a really good element of any band. If you make music that everyone can find something in, you've succeeded as an artist.
Yeah.
That's true. And
Yeah.
I even as a biased fan, I gotta say they do that really well. Like
Mhm. For sure.
they're very diverse.
Yeah, and even not as a fan, like in quotation marks,
Yeah.
I like the album. I think it was good, but I can't really call myself a fan.
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
someone who
Yeah.
doesn't really listen to them, I definitely have found things in that album that I enjoy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
All right.
I feel like we've kind of.
Yeah.
I
We've
feel
kinda...
very out of my element when we talk about music.
Don't
I
worry.
feel very in my
I'm
element
just
about
pretending.
music.
It's all an act. I have no idea what I'm talking about.
I feel very good about the music. Oh, and also another thing I completely forgot to touch on. I think the production, like in terms of the mixing and mastering on that album, was very good. Personally,
Dude, I don't know anything about that stuff, but I'm gonna take your word for it, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
agree with you.
Well, I mean, if you like it, and it doesn't sound like, if it sounds balanced and nice, and it also like it all just
You can
fits
hear the
together.
vocals, yeah.
Yeah, if it all
Yeah,
just
yeah.
fits together, nice. You realize it's just nice. You know, it's just something you
So,
enjoy.
All right. So yeah, I
All right.
do agree.
So yeah, I guess that's
If
the
we-
end.
The Progcast, I guess.
Yeah,
this
thank
is
you for
it.
listening. Episode 2.
Do we know what we're gonna do for our next recommendations? What do you think?
I don't know, but I haven't stopped the recording, guys.
It's very true. No, I'm just
Oh,
saying.
okay.
Okay.
I think
Alright,
I have an
well,
idea. All right, so
You'll find out when the video gets uploaded.
guys, it's gonna be crazy. All right.
Yeah.
All
Look
right.
forward to it.
Yeah.
See you later.
Yeah. I'll see you
It's not gonna
around.
take this long.
Woo!